So I am Linda Nellis, and I'm the Alumni Services and Engagement Coordinator at the IVMF. And thank you so much for joining today's webinar, which was selected in honor of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Digital Armor, equipping yourself with the right resources. We are thrilled to welcome Allie Armisen, Executive Director for Fight Cybercrime. Allie is a veteran and military spouse, and she'll share resources, tips, and strategies to enhance overall security safeguards and awareness. We also hope to have with us Brian Radliff, IVMF Education and Training Program Manager. We'll have Allie kick off the presentation. She'll share her slides. And then when Allie is finished, we'll have Brian share an overview of cybersecurity course offerings. We will have time at the end for Q&A, which will be led by IVMF's Alumni Services and Engagement Manager, Cassandra Rosica.
All right, so I got the slides up. So if you can't see the slides, let me know. All right, let me get this bar out here. Sometimes there we go. All right, so very happy to be here with all of you today. Again, I'm Allie, veteran, military spouse. I was also a military brat. I've been in several military community lives so far. So my email is on the end of this presentation. If any of you have follow-on questions or want to chat about anything I talk about today, send me an email and we can talk about it. I'm happy to help any way I can. And hopefully Brian can join us soon. So I'm going to jump right in now. So I'm going to start off by letting you all know a little bit about my organization, Cybercrime Support Network. So you can see our mission there, but essentially is what we do is we help individuals who have been affected by severe cybercrimes. So think romance fraud, think crypto investment fraud, think identity theft, things like that. So if you ever find yourself in that position, head on over to our website, and I'm going to give you our website at the end of this presentation. Check out what we have going on and reach out to us, see if we can help you out. Okay, with that, at CSN, we have a bunch of different initiatives, like I said before, but one of which is our military and veteran program. Now, when we started this initiative, we had these huge goals and plans and ideas, and then the pandemic hit and everything changed. So what we are now is an as-needed resource. And what that means is organizations, agencies, they will reach out to us based on ideas or needs that they have, and we collaborate with them. We work with partners like IVMF in order to reach people who are in the military connected space, reach military connected audiences, and we help educate and bring awareness on how to fight back against cybercrime. So some of the things we did this year, we created a bunch of resources for military families on how to stay secure during a PCS. Those are always great times, those PCS seasons. We gave awareness and education talks on specific personal cyber threats, particular to certain segments of the military community. And then an initiative that I love, I hope we can grow it. And we did this 2 years in a row. We spoke to social workers who assist homeless veterans who have recently been housed and given technology like phones or tablets or computers to either help them find work or just stay connected to family and friends. And this is a group that hasn't had technology in their hands for maybe months or even years, and they have no idea about current cyber threats. So we give classes, we gave resources so that these social workers and so that these veterans know what to look out for, either help each other out with scams, fraud, or know what to do if they are affected by fraud or scams. So I love that we did that. Again, I hope that we can continue to do work like that. Okay, so in case anyone here is interested in getting into the cybercrime victim service space, here are some certs or training to think about. Full disclosure, we came up with a list of about 30 trainings, certifications that would be like on our wish list if we wanted to get in this space and we weren't already in it. But I kept it to just these 4 to not overwhelm anybody. I will say this space, the cybercrime victim service space, needs more people. I talk to victims of cybercrime daily, And obviously those victims represent successful cyber attacks. And more we at CSN are seeing criminals utilize artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency. And these two technologies are making it easier for scammers to scale and more effectively steal from the world. So we know that over the next few years, people are going to get more and more money and information stolen. And I will tell you this, if you experience severe cybercrime, recovery is bleak right now. Most often victims are blamed for being stupid. If the victim chooses to report, they are told that they will likely not get their money back. And in fact, they often never even hear back about their case. They never even know if it was filed or investigated. Now, it's not law enforcement's fault. This is a very difficult crime to not only solve, but to get justice for, because it crosses international lines. So until there's this global collaboration, global regulation, law enforcement kind of has their hands tied. But there are some customer service things, customer service improvements that can be made by law enforcement. And we at CSN, that's another thing we do. We offer some of those solutions to those law enforcement groups so we can better interact with victims at every level. Now, unfortunately, some of the victims we speak to become suicidal, again, because that recovery is bleak. The realization of losing your life savings is very bleak. So again, we help with that weekly. We have victims who are in that space weekly. And that's really important work. I am proud that we are a place that people can go to for help. I hear things like, you are the first place that I have gone to where I feel heard, where I feel supported. I am feeling hopeful again. Again, I'm just really proud about that. And then one thing I also want to bring up about this crime is that those who are affected, like, remember, they've lost everything. So they have to rely on their family. And sometimes their family abandons them because they are so angry with the victim that they let this happen, right? When that happens, the victim then has to rely on government resources and assistance. And that means government resources and assistance that are paid by your tax dollars. So cybercrime isn't just a victim problem. It is the family's problem. It is the country's problem. Okay, so with that, if anyone is interested in getting into this space or even just volunteering in this space, a huge portion of this work is just listening without judgment, understanding trauma and how it affects the brain, and then learning how to effectively communicate. So many of these people have been told, again, they're dumb, they deserve what happened to them, and there's just no help in sight. They just need to deal with it. So when a victim just gets a person who's willing to listen, who is kind to them, who is not judgmental, it is hugely meaningful and appreciated. Now, as far as cyber knowledge, what you need to know in this space, the more the better. A basic course would be a good place to start, but you really need to also understand how to just take the technical piece and simplify it down, right? So that the most novice of users can understand what you're saying. And that's why that communication piece is on there. Sometimes we have tech experts come and help us and talk to the people we're helping. And they can make things seem very complicated, but we need, in the victim service space, as we're piecing together someone's life and trying to strengthen their cybersecurity, we need it to be simple, these simple actionable steps. The average person doesn't need to know how to code, doesn't need to know about machine learning. They need to know how to improve their passwords and freeze their credit. So it's important to know what the average cybercrime victim needs and what they don't need. So you don't bog them down with knowledge during a time when their brain is scrambled from the trauma from the crime. So some examples of things we do at CSN to help victims: we help people lock down their privacy settings. We help them take control of their accounts. We help them update their devices. We help them report their cybercrime, not only to the platforms, but to law enforcement. We help with the basics that need to be taken care of after a severe cybercrime. And then we also cover other areas that people may not think about. So not just the cybersecurity topics, but we point people towards financial and tax resources specific to the cybercrime they experienced. Legal resources. Sometimes a lot of these people have unknowingly become money mules. So they have that whole legal aspect to deal with. Or sometimes they have a really strong case and they want to try and prosecute it. So we point them to those legal resources. And then we have a licensed counselor that handles that mental health aspect that comes with severe cybercrime. Again, it is a trauma and there is mental health work to be done when the cybercrime ends. And then finally, we try and find follow-on help for victims. This is something that's not talked about a lot. If you're a victim of severe cybercrime, the recovery often takes years, and there are many areas that need to be addressed. And I just talked about a few just then. And we try to point people towards organizations that can be with them for the long haul, for years. Okay, so talked a lot about this slide, but there's a bunch of places you can go to get this training. But if you want to talk about this further, again, email me. Happy to talk about it. Again, we need people in this space to help these people who have lost hope. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just go over the things that military audiences have told us help them strengthen their personal cybersecurity. And I know many of you may be transitioning out of service or looking for employment, looking to change employment. Maybe you're just looking to strengthen your own personal cybersecurity. Either way, you're going to run into scams regularly for the rest of your life. I hate to be kind of a downer, but that's just the reality. But scammers really love when we are stressed. And if you're job hunting right now, it's pretty stressful. Don't know if you know that. Finding a job can be stressful. And so they are going to try and reach out to you if they find out you're in that stage. Now, if you are a cyber guru expert, you are as secure as you possibly can be. You don't need any of this stuff I'm talking to you about. That's wonderful. But I bet that these tips can still help your family and your friends, your trusted network. So this information I talk about today can help you with your kids, your teens. Man, are we not talking to our kids about cybersecurity, right? Maybe even your spouses, your parents, your grandparents. So keep that in mind. All right, so with that, I'm going to give you some stats. And here we see cyber criminals were pretty successful last year when they engaged active duty service members and their families. They stole $88 million. And please remember, this is just based on people who reported their cybercrime. Not everybody reports. Okay, so this number is low. On the next slide, we see that cyber criminals stole $350 million from veterans and retirees. So even more money was stolen from this segment of the military population. So if you find yourself in this group, this is something to be aware of. Now, what scams affect the military community the most? When I say military community, I mean service members, families, military spouses, veterans, retirees, military kids. It's these scams, these top three. Now, there are many subcategories, to each of these. I could talk to you for hours about these three categories. Nobody wants me to do that. But I'm just going to cover a few examples today. So we're going to start with imposter scams. An imposter scam is exactly what it sounds like. It's when a criminal is pretending to be somebody else to steal your money, or to steal your information. So last year, the military community submitted over 42,000 imposter scam reports to the FTC, and the total loss amounted to $176 million. That's a lot of money. Now, imposter scams are also the most reported scam to the FTC overall by just Americans in general. So it's not just affecting the military community, it's affecting all of us. One imposter scam, again, that I'm going to cover today is the job scam, because again, many of you may be in that kind of transition period. So look out for those job scams. There's kind of two types I'm going to hit on. The first one is it may look like a job posting on a legitimate site. A cyber criminal will plop one on Indeed, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, any site that's posting jobs. And some of these job postings that they're putting up can be stolen from actual real companies with legitimate posted job opportunities. So they'll just copy a legitimate job opportunity and put it up on LinkedIn or Indeed. And the only change they will have is the contact info, because they want you to contact them, not the legitimate company. But that's pretty tricky, right? You look at the opportunity, you confirm it on the company's website. Maybe you notice that the contact information is different, but maybe you contact the scammer instead of the actual legitimate recruiter. And then all of a sudden you're in a job scam. Other types of job scams may start out with a scammer reaching out to you to offer a job. And I've seen a spectrum of complexity with regard to this scam. An example of kind of a more complex job scam kind of looks like this. I heard about this about a month or two ago from an individual who came to us. There was a recruiter call, right? Called, the imposter was pretending to be from a small but legitimate startup, and the startup hadn't yet set up a website. So the scammer set up a fake website using the startup's name. Wasn't that so nice of them? That was so considerate of the scammer. So when the person did their initial research, they found some legitimate information on the small startup online, and then saw the website and just figured, oh, this must be their small website. Now, the imposter interviewed this individual several times, several rounds of interviews, multiple people interviewing the individual. The person got the job. They went through onboarding. They went through training. And then finally they were told, hey, we need you to purchase some crypto for XYZ reason. And that was the first red flag that the person had during the process. But by then they'd been communicating for weeks with multiple people from this supposed company. So luckily they didn't buy any of the crypto. They didn't send any crypto, but think of all the information they gave during that onboarding process. So this person absolutely had to worry about identity theft. So we don't want that to happen to us. I'm going to touch on the red flags to look out for. But before I do that, just remember, awareness of the red flags isn't the only thing you need. You need a questioning mindset always with scams. You have to be in the right mindset to see red flags. If you are desperate for a job because you need to feed your family, pay the bills, whatever, you're at a disadvantage because your brain is stressed out and it's swirling with all these chemicals that are going to affect your decision making. So keep that in mind when you hear the common red flag that I'm going to bring up right now. The if it's too good to be true, it probably is red flag. And that is absolutely something to watch out for. But if you are desperate, scared, feeling rushed, your brain may not perceive an offer as too good to be true. Your brain instead may say, oh my gosh, thank goodness, I'm saved. So that is exactly what is happening a lot of times when people are affected by any scam. They are feeling strong emotions that are causing them to act quickly. So really, the best way to see if something is too good to be true is to have someone on the outside check your work. Use that trusted network and say, hey, person I trust, look at this job offer, look at this job opportunity. And a lot of times, a person who isn't in it, who isn't the target, can easily see a scam for what it is because their brain isn't going through those same chemical reactions. It isn't going through that same foggy thinking. At a minimum, most times they'll say, I don't know, right? Why don't you double check? Why don't you get more information? Why don't you call, right? They'll just kind of push you into the direction of ask more questions. All right, so some other common job scam red flags. Any sort of unsolicited contact, message out of the blue. Every unsolicited message needs to be researched, period. Unsolicited messages, emails, calls are the #1 red flag to a scam. So don't respond or answer or interact until you do your research and ask your trusted network what they think. Another red flag, the upfront fee. No matter what the reason, hey, you got to give me money so you can buy equipment, so you can get some training, so we can do your background check. Any upfront fee is a scam. And also they're going to usually ask for that upfront fee in crypto or a wire transfer. More and more, it's going to be cryptocurrency. So that's a huge red flag too. Another red flag, if they want to talk to you on WhatsApp. Okay, if they're pulling you off a platform, pulling you off a legitimate website and taking you to WhatsApp, a reputable employer is going to use email, phone calls, video calls, face-to-face, not WhatsApp. Scammers like WhatsApp because it's global, it's easy to use, and it provides encryption so they can hide all their illicit activities. And then watch out for task-based scams. So any scam that promises you a lot of money to do kind of these little simple tasks, like leave a good review for a hotel or a restaurant, or watch a YouTube video and comment, interact with accounts on Instagram or TikTok. These little task scams or sorry, these little task jobs are always a scam, especially if they're offering you big money to do these simple things. Okay, so I really hammered on the job scams, but it is really important that you're not only aware that they're out there, but what they look like. And then real quick, I do want to touch on PCS scams or moving scams. They fall under imposter scams, and there's so many flavors to them. But PCSing or just moving in general is a time when you are stressed, tired, annoyed, distracted, and it's the perfect time for a scammer to kind of weasel in and get at you. The travel can be difficult and a perfect opportunity to come in contact with a scam. And then also think about all the breaches that are happening. You may not get contacted about a breach in the area you lived in 3 moves ago, 2 moves ago. So keep that in mind. So because there are so many potential scams that can happen during a PCS, again, like rental, mortgage scams, travel scams, family friend emergency scams, hacked accounts, impersonation, identity theft. I could just go on, basically any scam under the sun. I'm just going to kind of give you an overall scam awareness red flag list. The big piece of advice I have is if you are tired or distracted, leave your texts and leave your emails and those phone calls alone. Okay, wait until you are fresh. We sometimes push and we feel like we have to take care of things right now. And the military lifestyle kind of pushes that too sometimes, right? It's go, 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 answer, 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 respond, respond. But most things can wait at least an hour, right? So if you're super distracted right now, just wait an hour, right? And then come back to it. You will likely see a scam for what it is when you're fresh. All right, so again, the warning signs, we've covered some of these already, but it's so important, I'm gonna hit them again. So general scam warning signs that can help you during a PCS. Unsolicited contact, any calls, emails, out of the blue, texts out of the blue. We live in a day and age where if it is an unexpected contact, it's probably a scam, okay? So let that unexpected call or whatever text sit or go to voicemail and then confirm that information by going to the official website or calling the official number of that company, organization, agency. Do not trust that the person who messaged you, texted you, called you is providing you with official numbers or emails or websites. Scammers love to keep you in their own little scam loop, so they're going to give you fake websites, fake numbers. You need to do your research and find the official contact information on your own. Next warning sign, any payment that someone's asking you for it with gift cards, wire transfer, cryptocurrency, that's a scam. Hang up the phone, it's a bad guy. And then the final warning sign, we kind of hit on this already. Any sense of urgency, any time someone's really trying to amp up your emotions, that's a huge indicator of a scam in general. Someone's rushing you, someone doesn't want you to get off the phone. Those are indicators. Really, really quickly, I want to hit on investment scams. These are really getting terrible thanks to crypto investing and artificial intelligence. I'm sure many of you have heard about pig butchering. At this point, at CSN, we refer to pig butchering scams as crypto investment fraud or crypto romance fraud. If you don't know about pig butchering, give it a Google. Again, we don't have time to get into it today, but please give it a Google, look into what it is. They are getting very tricky and they are affecting a lot of people. Daily, I speak to people who have lost millions to these scams. They have nothing left. They call us from homeless shelters. They call us from their cars. On top of that, they usually have to pay taxes because they pulled money out of their 401ks or their IRAs early in order to invest in these fake crypto investment websites. And now they owe taxes on that money. So please listen to what I'm about to tell you. If someone you met online and never met in person approaches you and says they can mentor you, help you, guide you with investing in crypto, they are a scammer. Say no, block them, and warn your family and friends. Okay, with that, these are the immediate action steps to take if you discover you've been affected by a scam. And I'm just going to highlight number 4 there. I would really suggest that everyone freeze their credit as a precautionary measure, whether you've been affected by a scam or not. You can freeze your credit for free online, but you have to do it with all 3 credit bureaus. So that's Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. Freezing your credit report means that creditors can't access your credit file, your credit report. So they can't approve new credit accounts in your name. So freeze prevents a criminal from opening credit cards or loans in your name. That's a great step to prevent criminals from ruining your credit. And definitely, if you know your social security number has been compromised or identity theft is happening to you, do this step, freeze your credit. All right, next. How can you strengthen your online security to avoid being affected by cybercrimes in the future? Implement these 5 simple steps. You can do it today. You could start today. You can't complete them all today, but you could definitely start them all today. And I'm just going to make a few key points here. And I'm going right to passwords. And everybody rolls their eyes at me when I start talking about passwords. But guys, it is so important. According to NordPass in 2023, the top 2 most common passwords in the world that we used were number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We didn't even go to 9. Okay. We didn't add letters. We just used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the second most popular password was admin, all lowercase. If you do nothing else after this presentation, please change your simple passwords. Change 1 a week. Even if you do that by the end of this year, you're going to be a rock star. Okay. Make them as long as you can. Put numbers, letters, special characters in there. I am begging you. Passwords are your first line of defense. It is an easy thing you can fix. Please do so. And then the other thing I want to touch on here is remember that scammers are always collecting on you. Update your privacy settings. Okay, privacy settings allow you to control your information, your name, your address, your phone number, your photos, your videos. So make sure that you're reviewing your privacy settings every once in a while on all your accounts, especially your social media accounts. Make them private. We love to have them public, but really consider making them private. Restrict who can see your friends list, your contacts, your photos, all that. They are always looking at what you're posting, and they're gathering not just about you, gathering information not just about you, but also your network. Your network is really important to them, okay? That's going to take me to the next slide. The so-called suckers list, that's a title that the criminals came up with. We didn't come up with that title. I don't love it, but we still continue to use it. But anyway, the suckers list is a database that cyber criminals created and they continue to upkeep. And it's full of names of people and their information. And this information may be through data breaches, through phishing links, runs the gamut. We are all on the suckers list. So this list is basically just a file cabinet full of folders. Each folder is a person, and some folders are really thick and full of information, and some folders are very thin with not a lot of information. Your goal is to have one of those thin folders. So the thin folders are in kind of that blue section of the funnel. This is a funnel here. The blue is the top. You want to be there. If over time your folder gets thicker and thicker and thick enough that you get in the orange section, the bottom of the funnel, you're likely getting inundated by phishing calls, phishing emails, texts. Scammers love people in the orange section. So if this ever happens to you, if your just phone is ringing off the hook, you're getting all these emails, texts, it's time to change your phone number. It's time to get a new email address and start making all those social media accounts private if you haven't already, or making new profiles altogether that are private. And it's definitely time to freeze your credit then, okay? Because they have a lot of information on you. The harassment is never going to stop because you have been marked as a good target. And so you have to then get new contact information again, new phone number, new email, etc. All right, with that, let's get into some artificial intelligence. So I am not an artificial intelligence hater. There are some really great uses for AI, but we all just need to understand that scammers are using AI and it's making it easier for them to steal our money and our information. So they are using voice cloning technology to create either completely fake new voices or to copy real people's voices. We see this a lot with celebrities. You can have Taylor Swift now wish you happy birthday, but scammers are now using that technology to impersonate celebrities, and they love doing that in romance frauds. So a scammer can basically create any voice they want, any accent they want, in any language they want. Some cloning tools out there just need 3-4 seconds of someone's voice, to mimic it, to create a copy. Scammers are also creating deep fakes, and deep fakes are just manipulated photos or videos, and they're created using machine learning algorithms. Right now, it's possible to make a deep fake from a single photo. It's not going to be great quality. The good deep fakes still require about 3 to 10 minutes of video. And now a really good deep fake, hard to detect with your eyes and ears. In fact, I will tell you, nearly impossible at this point. Also, people can create real-time deep fakes. So someone can be video chatting with you and using deep fake tech to look and sound completely different. So just because you are video chatting with someone does not mean that they are legitimate. 3 years ago, we could tell people, hey, if you think the person you're talking to is a criminal, a cyber criminal, ask them to video chat. We cannot give that piece of advice anymore. And then finally, scammers are using chatbots. Now, chatbot is just a computer program designed to interpret and respond to users in kind of a human conversational manner. Now, unfortunately for all of us, scammers have created chatbots on the dark web that work exactly like ChatGPT. Essentially, these chatbots make it so that a cyber criminal can create a very convincing message, again, in any language they want, in any tone they want, with no spelling or grammar errors. So we used to say to people, look out for spelling and grammar errors. That is still the case. Look out for those spelling and grammar errors, but just because it is grammar free, the spelling is pristine, do not think that you are safe. These dark web ChatGPT programs can even suggest where to put a malicious link in a phishing email or a text, and then they can create that malicious link. So scammers don't even need any tech knowledge anymore. They just need to know or have access to the dark web and access to these dark web chatbots. AI is the only reliable way to catch AI at this point, at least the more advanced AI. So if you're looking to get into cybersecurity, start learning about generative AI, machine learning, language models, all that. We need more people working this problem. I am definitely not someone who can guide you on this path. I am not an AI expert, but I do know and work with some people who are. So again, email me and I'll see if I can point you in the right direction. Oops, come on. There we go. So this slide is just here to hit one more time the fact that scammers are successful in part because of these things, okay? You could have the latest and greatest tech, but if a scammer can emotionally manipulate you, if they can interact with you when you are distracted or just hit you with a scam that you've never heard of, they will likely be able to steal your money and your information. So there's no silver bullet. You need to stay up to date on the scams that are out there. You need to answer or not answer calls, texts, emails when you're distracted. So don't answer when you're distracted. You know what I'm saying. Don't answer things when you're distracted. Answer things when you're fresh. And you need to be aware of your emotional state, right? Are you going through something hard? Are you going through something terrible? Or are you going through something really, really great, right? Sometimes like that's why romance scams are so difficult because people feel elated. They feel in love. And so their decision-making is being affected. So don't just look for those sad, angry emotions. The really elated emotions can get you too. Now, all of this is great, but you aren't going to be successful all the time if you're just relying on yourself. I said it before, you need a trusted network. Every person on the planet needs a trusted network to help them determine what's true and what's not true on the internet. We say a lot of times that the internet is a tricky stranger. It can be awesome and terrible all at once. You have to ask questions to figure out. So many times I speak to a cybercrime victim who tells me someone in their life knew it was a scam before they did. My organization exists because it's hard sometimes to determine if you're in a scam, if you are the target. So get yourself a team of helpers, a trusted network, and help each other out. Okay, that's a lot of information. But don't worry, this is our website. So it has everything I talked about today and then some, fightcybercrime.org. We're always updating it. We're always putting relevant information that we're learning from the victims that come to us for help. So check it out. Great resource, fightcybercrime.org. And with that, thank you so much for your time today. I hope Brian got in. Did Brian get in?
You did. I can't thank you enough. This was so terrifying and amazing all at the same time. I feel like I need to leave right now and go and freeze my credit. But
You
it's
should do
really
it.
great. I think it worked out well to have Brian follow you up because he is going to give a quick overview of some available cybersecurity courses. So thank you again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to tie in very well with you, Allie. So, Linda, was that my introduction? I'm sorry.
That was
Because you,
that was
cause
all
you
you got. Yep.
all right, all right. So, because of technology, the technology is trying to keep me out of this webinar, but it couldn't do it. I found a workaround. So, a lot of great information. Now, I'm actually going to follow up because I'm an educator and everybody learns things different ways. So you really hit on the two simple cybersecurity month things that I was going to focus on was passwords, which you hit, and the other one is updates on your software and on all your computer stuff. So, Linda, do you have that slide that I sent, the Hive one that talked about passwords? Because she really hit on passwords. I kind of wanted to just throw that up there because that's one of my favorite visual references that I always show my students, and I always highlight with my friends and families on how important a password is. So if you're able to get to that, that's great. I'm going to throw up a couple of links in the chat that I'm going to talk about. There's three great websites that I want you to be familiar with as part of Cybersecurity Month, especially if you're looking at A, personal education, B, potentially professional education, which we have just launched. A new alumni offering at the IVMF. So we have been previously offering it as part of our Onward Opportunity Program, but we've now opened up our Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate to all of our alumni starting in November. So I'm going to throw that up. Linda's got some information, but I've just thrown up about 4 different awesome links because this is all about education. The first one I love is cyberseek.org, which is a great public-private partnership. There's this great organization called the NICE, which is the National Initiative for Cyber Education, which falls under the National Institute for Technology there in DC. And they're great educators about cyber. So I always like to turn people on to CyberSeek because if you're going into the cyber and IT industry, it gives you a couple of great tools. One, it talks about the different pathways, how to come in entry level, which is really great. And it's Google's certificate that we're now offering is you don't have to have any background. It's designed for someone that has no IT background whatsoever. And at the end, you come out with the skill set to go in at the entry level of cybersecurity, which is, and if you go to that CyberSeek, it talks about cybersecurity specialists, cyber crimes analysts, incident intrusion analysts, and IT auditors. That's all entry level stuff. So once you go through the Google Cybersecurity Program, professional certificate program, that is one of the paths you can go. So it like I said, it's a great program. It's now opened up to our alumni. So even if you were a previous O2O participant, you can add this on as additional credential. And the added bonus to the program is on the backside, you're going to get a 30% voucher discount towards CompTIA's Security Plus. So for those of you that are thinking about maybe going and working in the government sector, especially in DoD, that Security Plus is really, it's a little bit more the entry level. It's closer to your what we call a associate or mid-level certification, but it's really your next check mark or next milestone in your career development as far as certifications. And we will also, our alumni team there will, as part of your alumni additional access to our Percipio account, would give you the ability to study for that, and then you get that 30% discount towards taking that next certification level. So those are a couple of great things that are out there. So like I said, I wanted to open that up to everyone. She talked a little bit about AI. So for those of you that haven't are a little fearful of AI, we've also got this great Google AI Essentials, which will come as a combined package with the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate. But if you just want to learn about AI and kind of see what's going on out there, what AI is all about, it's about an 6 to 8 hour course. It's entry level. You can take that as one of our alumni offerings also. So just reach out to our alumni team there, and we'll give you either access to just the Google AI Essentials, or if you'd like to get into the cybersecurity industry, I would recommend the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate. On that CyberSeek website, they got this phenomenal heat map. Okay, so it's real-time data that you can help look at what some of the job availability is. So just a quick fact here in the U.S., there's about 1.2 million cybersecurity jobs currently slotted in the U.S. And on that site currently, it's showing about 450,000 cybersecurity jobs that are being advertised or open. So if you're looking for, to reskill, upskill, if you're in the IT industry and you like networking and you want to come to the protective side, start building your resume up, adding some of these credentials, certificates and certifications to your portfolio to come on over and help protect our private, our public, and our professional data that's out there that you just learned all those great lessons about. So as I said, really just wanted to throw that offer out. My name is Brian Radliff. I'm the program manager for training education. I work under our Onward Opportunity, our training education pillar in the Institute. And we have a lot of IT and cyber certs that you have the ability to either take as a primary first time through O2O, or get access to those curriculums as an additional alumni offering on the backside, if that wasn't one of your primary offerings, or if you took one of our entrepreneurship venues and are trying to help protect either your aspiring business, or you may be looking at going into the IT or cyber business. So a lot of opportunities out there. That was a phenomenal presentation. And like I said, the two things I would hit on: passwords. I said that 3 times, but passwords are the first thing. And as you said, a little at a time, but if you look, I got a chart that we'll add into our deck here. Hive shows you how quickly your password can be broken by a cyber criminal if it's just numbers or just letters. But as you start, expanding that out, make it a little bit more difficult, or maybe using some of those encrypting tools that are out there to make stuff a little more protected. That's another way another route to go to use for passwords. As I know, I've got a multi-encrypted sheet that has probably about 100 passwords on it, and every one of those passwords is encrypted. So, and I have to go back every just like everybody else, I go back and change my stuff, because you never know. Even some of the encrypting companies have had data breaches in the past. So, so 1, passwords; 2, every day when you get in there and you see that little red button down at the bottom says you've got updates in some of your programs. Update those programs, because those updates to those programs were vulnerabilities that were found that somebody knows about, and that's a potential way or a way for a cyber criminal to get in and access that data. So keep all your programs and apps up to date. If you have an iPhone or that other one, I think it's called an Android or something like that. If you got one of those phones, every time you see that those updates come, get them in there, because the majority of time those are security updates, vulnerabilities ever found, and that'll help protect your data. So protect yourself, protect your family, protect your company. That's all I got, Linda. Thank you for giving me the moment, and I was glad I was able to get the work around. I look forward to seeing all of you that want to take advantage of one of our Google either cybersecurity or AI Essentials programs here in the near future.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian, for that information. Also, Allie, thanks so much for those great nuggets of information. Like Linda said, I feel like I need to go and check to make sure that my credit's frozen. So Allie, I do have a couple questions for you. And then if anybody has a question here, definitely drop it into the chat. We can go ahead and address any questions you have. But can you explain the types of educational materials and resources provided by the Military and Veteran Program to help protect against cybercrime? Are there any webinars or helpful tools that our veteran and military spouse population can take advantage of?
Yeah, so again, if you go to our website, fightcybercrime.org, we have a bunch on there. We do kind of monthly blogs. I don't know if anyone here is a blog person, but we do have some of those as well. And then, I mean, we do a bunch of webinars every year. We are on social media. And we do reels. So that's that like bite-sized information, bite-sized tips. We do have sponsors and partners, again, like IVMF, we're with you today. We do things like this with other partners and sponsors as well. So it really runs the gamut of, we are a nonprofit, so it depends on funding. So it kind of can be anything from an infographic, a blog, an article, a webinar, podcast, things like that. So. Oops, if you're talking, I think you're muted, Cassandra.
Oh, sorry about
Technology.
that. Now I'm good. Now I'm good. Yeah, we do have a couple questions here from our registrants. So one of them that caught my eye, we do work a lot with the entrepreneurship, veteran military spouse population. From your perspective, what are the best ways to separate and protect business and family when working digitally from a home office? What do you see that the best way to do that is?
Yeah, that's a good one. So that's a really good one. A lot to be done here. So first, I would say separation is key, right? So if possible, have a work computer, a work device, and then a home computer, home device, right? And don't let the family use the work computer. And you don't do work on the home computer, the home devices or things like that. So that separation is key. And then, again, talk to your family about this rule, enforce it, make sure everybody understands. And then even, you can go to I don't want to tell you to lock everything you own that's work related, but, maybe take your work computer and you put it in a drawer every day. Just kind of that physical piece of removing it from the family setting. Automatic updates. I'm going to hit on it again. I think that's so important for just your home device, but also your work device. So if your work doesn't have the automatic updates on, put those automatic updates on, because it's really hard to remember to do that because we get busy, we get distracted, right? All the things we talked about today. So just put it on auto and then you don't even have to think about it. I would recommend utilizing a VPN, a virtual private network. For your work computer, at least. Now, again, it depends on your employer. A lot of times they'll have you set up with a virtual private network anyway. You kind of don't have to worry about it. They've done it for you. I wouldn't go put a VPN on your work computer without talking to somebody first, but maybe you are the business owner and it's just you and like maybe another person. That VPN is important because it encrypts your internet connection, right? It masks your IP address and it makes it difficult for those bad guys to kind of track your online activity or to intercept your data. So many, again, companies will provide their workers with these VPNs. Should you need to hook up to public Wi-Fi or if your home internet gets infiltrated somehow. Now, will a small business, or if you are the small business, can you afford it? Maybe not, but I would say there's a lot of affordable VPN solutions out there right now. I don't want to say a number, but I want to say it's like under $200. I don't know. You'll have to check me. I will tell you this. I work for a nonprofit. I'm not making the big bucks, but I spend the money on a VPN. But that's your choice. I think it's worth spending the money. And then looping back to public Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi networks are just not secure. Okay. And that makes it really easy for hackers, again, to intercept your data, steal your information, hack your devices. So for individual users, we at CSN always recommend, hey, don't connect to public Wi-Fi, or if you do, use that VPN. If you have a computer and you just have to get on the internet and you're away from your connection, use your phone as a hotspot if you can. Again, for work, I wouldn't be connecting your computer to a public network without a VPN, or at least, again, use your phone as a hotspot. And then one final thing, and this is something that, man, not a lot of people do, router best practices. So if your company is not providing you with VPN router of its own, maybe you're a very small business, make sure that you're at least changing your router's default login credentials. So everybody turns their router over and just uses those credentials. Change those, because those credentials are on other lists. If that company gets a breach, then there's your router credentials. And then make sure you're updating your router's firmware. You don't know how to do that. Every router is different. It depends. I couldn't tell you how to do it right now, but go to our website and we can give you some guidance, but that's really important. So that was a lot. That was a lot for one question, but that's my 2
No,
cents.
that was great. Thank you, Allie. And I think I have one last question for you. So it's from Katrina, one of our colleagues. So, and if you happen to have insights on this, so she's mentioning if she knows her Social Security has been compromised, she already has a taxpayer PIN, would she need to change her email or phone number? And then she mentions she already monitors her credit and then it's frozen already. Would you happen to have some insight on that?
I do, because my Social Security number was compromised as well. So welcome to the club, the sad club of your Social Security number was compromised. So sounds like you're on the right track, right? You froze your credit. Do you have to change your email or phone number? It's up to you, right? Are you getting inundated, right? If not, then you're probably okay. Because again, your Social Security number may be linked to your email phone. It may not be. What I would say to do in addition is make sure you're monitoring your credit report, even though it's frozen, monitor it as well. And now you can do it for free weekly. That's like one good thing that came out of COVID. You go to annualcreditreport.com and you can just get a weekly credit report, make sure the addresses are correct, make sure nothing funny's on there, make sure no charges or craziness is going on your credit report. And then just monitor your bank statements, right? Kind of the things we should always be doing. I kind of check it once a week, right? To make sure no charges popped up on there, nothing crazy popped up on there. And then again, just be watching out for weird mail, weird messages, things like that. You kind of just, once your Social Security number is out there, you kind of always have to be ready. You don't have to be scared. It's okay. I've had my Social Security number compromised for 15 years now. It was back in the breach with when I was in the service. So it'll be okay. You just have to be a little extra vigilant. So, but it sounds like you're on the right track.
So I do get a lot of random text messages and stuff like that. I've been ignoring them.
Yeah, ignore them. Ignore them.
Okay.
That's perfect. And
I didn't know if
honestly,
I needed to change it. So
yeah, honestly, we're all getting a lot of random calls, texts. It's just you'll know, it'll ramp up. It'll be ping, ping, ping. People are getting hundreds a day. So if you're not in the hundreds, you're probably just like the rest of us. You're getting the normal amount.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Allie. I appreciate that. Yeah. And yeah, just to piggyback off what you're saying. So, and for everyone too. So the Cybercrime Support Network has so many great resources to take advantage of. So I'm going to go ahead and link it again here in the chat. Allie, and just a final question for you. Are there any other insights or initiatives that the Cybercrime Support Network is working on that you'd like to highlight, or any just final thoughts you'd like to leave the crowd with?
So if you or anyone you know gets affected by romance fraud or crypto investment fraud, again, these are the two of the more devastating cyber crimes. We have a support group. It's a peer support group that you can go to our website, you go to the initiatives tab and you look and you'll see Romance Scam Recovery Group. Click on that and register and we can help you. We'll put you in that group and it's a 10-week free group session with a licensed counselor and we'll walk you through all that recovery. We'll hook you up with other resources that you need to help in your recovery journey. So it's a crime that people like to read about in the news, and it can be very juicy, right, to listen to this crime that happens to people, but the recovery, not to say bleak again, but is so bleak. So we are one of the few companies, nonprofits out there that are working in that space that have a resource for you to use. So if that ever happens to you, if you know anybody that it's happened to, please contact us. We can help you. And yeah, stay safe out there, everybody. And thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Allie. Yeah, just want to give you a heartfelt thank you for sharing all of these great resources with our military connected community. Very much appreciated. And like you said, there's so many great resources out here to look into of course, to recognize and recover and report these top scams. So thank you so much for your time. I'd also want to just thank you all for joining today's session. As Linda mentioned in the chat, we will be following up with some additional information. We'll include the YouTube link where you can watch on demand this webinar. But if there are any other questions that you all have, definitely reach out to us. I'm going to go ahead and include our email here in the chat. But again, want to thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks again, Allie, and we'll be following up soon with some more information.